Hey, what's good, peoples, man? Before we get this episode started, it'd be dope if you toss us a like, a subscribe, and also don't forget to turn on those bell notifications, man. We truly appreciate it.
You're not my man. You're not my man. You're a genius.
There we go. And we were live, but we're officially live. We're live. What's good, everybody? What is happening? I'm excited for tonight. We got us a dope interview coming up. I'm John D. Contradiction. We got Reckless DWR. We're doing our, this is the Who's Man series. And MC, introduce yourself for everybody when they check this out.
What's up, everyone? I go by the name of 1AM. I am an independent female artist out here in Gilroy, California.
Yes, sir.
Let it know. All right. Independent female artist. What's good? That means nobody is controlling her narrative.
No one owns her soul.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And my music.
Or music.
Fact. That's a fact. Mm-hmm. Nobody is fucking controlling the sounds, whatever you're putting out there. They're not controlling your image. And honestly, that's fantastic because it leaves you with a strange thing called freedom, creative freedom in this music industry, because we all know in the female and even in the male game, I mean, just in the music industry in general, it's chaotic, Oh, Kairu gonna come in. Shit. This guy, you see what he said? He said, I look like I work at Foot Locker. The disrespect.
Hey, yo, got size 12s and knees.
All right, I don't got a striped shirt on. I don't get the reference. That joke is terrible. I hope whatever they're putting in this guy's IV gets upped until his back pain starts getting or something like that. Oh, what's good? We got Trip in the building. But anyways, shout out to you, 1AM. This has been long overdue. I've been a fan of your music for a hot minute. I've been, checking out your music for a while, and I'm a fan. You know what I'm saying? Like, I rock with what you're doing, and I honestly became more of a fan when I heard that you be producing too. So I'm like, even better. And then like you're doing everything. You're a hip hop Swiss Army knife. So it's good to see. It's good to see people who one care that much, but also just like being a student and someone who just appreciates what's going on, like who appreciates the small intricacies of this hip hop shit that we all are, fans of, students of. It's just dope to see someone care that much. And I'm going to keep it real. It's very rare just from my end. And, I listen to a lot of fucking hip hop, listen to a lot of music. I've been in this music shit for a long time. It's just very rare seeing a female do something like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's super dope. Like, because a lot of times, like, and I'm not trying to put anybody in boxes or anything like that, but a lot of the female artists I know, they get hustled by like those producer dudes. Like, yeah, I'll put your music out, I'll record you, but it's got to be under my label, it's got to be under my brand, and I'll do this, I'll do that, and they just hustling people who are just coming into the game just with questions and stuff, and they take advantage. So shout out to you. Very it's dope. Like, I think ladies need to hear that, because a lot of people, they're like, oh, to be a lady artist you gotta shake your butt and stuff like that, which ain't nothing wrong with shaking your ass.
Wrong with that at all.
Yeah, like Rhapsody, I don't know what Rhapsody's butt cheeks look like, and she's one of my favorite female artists. Like, I've never seen Jean Grey's butt cheeks, you know what I'm saying? So you don't have to do that. Keep it real.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For real. But yeah, thank you. It's definitely sometimes chaotic wearing a bunch of different hats, but in the end, it's like totally worth it, and it's super fun. So that's like the main thing. I always have fun with it. So,
I mean, that's what it's supposed to be. I mean, at the end of the day, it's got to have a certain amount of passion. It's got to be fun. It's got to have a little bit of pain. You know what I'm saying? It can't just be like, oh, I'm just doing this to make money. That's never the right way to go about it,
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that. Me being a fucking, I guess, an old head now, since everybody wants to call me that, but me just having like a specific taste, but also just kind of being withered and beat up by like just the music industry in general. It's good to see people still have a passion, because like that's what draws us in. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what makes us, like, people don't just start liking music because other people like music, because it's fun. Like, you start liking music because you feel something. Like, that's what fucking makes it get to you. So I don't know where that disconnect has happened. Maybe it's in all the processed foods our kids are eating, but who knows, you know? Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's pretty crazy, but for sure, like I had an interview a few days before this with another artist, and she was kind of just bringing up that whole thing about how just music is for most people that like appreciate it. It's just something that you feel. It's just something deep within you that you feel, and there's like that's what it is, like, you know. So, you know, from birth, like, you just feel it. I just love music. So, you know. And
there's no need to explain it. There's no real explanation. Like, I tell people that too. Like, when I had my son, the first thing babies do, they catch melodies, they dance, they sing. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's our the first language. Like, they'll memorize the shit out of a terrible like Baby Shark melody before they could even speak. But, like, that says something. You know what I'm saying? Like, that says something, and it's like, I don't know. I always reference this one study that I saw online of what music does to the brain, and how like music like lights up your whole brain, like the side that people don't think. And it's like, yo, it really is. Like, music can I can listen to a song that used to hit for me when I was like 13, and it'll make me want to cry. And I don't even know what I was crying about then. You know what I'm saying? I just know that I cried to it. So I just want to cry again to it. Like, it's just fantastic. But it is what it is. But I want to start off with a question. I got a question that I'm going to kick it. I know. My bad, Rap. Okay. I know you have some questions.
I know I've been doing interviews. I ain't tripping.
I got it. So what I want to know just from you, what is your take, just your outlook, like your view of the music industry as far as from the female side? You know what I'm saying? As far as in mainstream and in underground.
Okay.
Like, how do you feel?
Sheesh. I guess for me, let's start with mainstream. For me, mainstream is just like super. I guess it depends on who you're looking at, but like, let's just take Cardi B.
You're real one, yeah. You're real one, yeah.
Let's just see. It's just raunchy as fuck to me. Like, it's raunchy, and it's like, you know, I feel like it's just teaching these young women just horrible morals, like don't fucking cook and clean, or just shit like that, or like go cheat on your man. Like, it's just like, for me, like that's just trash. Like, it's just why, that's just not raising people to be good people, regardless of how you feel about like female like roles and whatnot. So as far as like mainstream shit, I think it's trash. I'm not everyone is trash, but it's just some of those songs that get pushed with that message is like, come on. But as far as like the underground, to be honest, I feel like there's a lot of females that I'm starting to come across too, now that I'm starting to interview people too. So it's kind of like exciting. Like, there's so many female artists coming out that are pushing really good messages. They might have a little bit of that mainstream shit, but other than that, like, I have a positive outlook when it comes to the underground. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely can agree and feel that. Like, I feel like, it's just, this is what the social media era has brought to us. Social media has taught humanity one very, very valuable lesson, is that we cannot turn our eyes to negativity. Like, we cannot. And it's a matter of our own morals and our own like will, whether we stop ourselves from completely diving into it or we just let ourselves go. And using that, I feel like that's definitely the tool of like marketing the mainstream. So it's easier to push just laziness and chaos and, violence and negativity than it is to push like something as far as being like morally, having like a bigger moral compass, because it's hard to be disciplined. It's hard to stick by rules. It's hard to stand by morals, so that's not something people want to hear. So they just want to hear all the fun stuff, but it sucks because it's like, it's creating a war amongst people that they don't even know. Like I see stuff like that. I've grown up my whole life. I want a daughter. I have a son. I want a daughter. And hearing shit like that, I'm like, I don't know if I want a daughter, surrounded by, I don't know if I want one. I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and I know I'm a pretty moral guy. I have pretty stand up rules, but I'm like, I'm not bigger than the world. Like maybe at the beginning, but there comes a point where, teenagers and stuff, they go out to the world and they realize, oh, this is fucking huge. Like, so what do you do? It's very scary, but especially them pushing that message too. They're like, oh, we don't have kids. It's like, I get it. I don't want it now. I don't want more. You guys are rapping about it. But the underground shit is exciting because I feel like the underground scene has, I don't know. I just feel like the underground right now is not even like what we used to think of the underground as far as just not being famous. I feel like the underground now is more so in charge of the messages that aren't being delivered. Like there's a lot of artists rapping about mental health and, insecurities and like just dark stories, but in a positive light, or like, just small victories and stuff like that. And I feel like that will always find its way to like overcome, but it's just a matter of it hitting the right people at the right time type of thing,
Yeah.
More creativity in the underground.
Yeah.
But like, I just like, because I know like I was watching like some of them. When I came across the Who's Your Man series, then I saw like, oh, you interviewed that one female, and I was like, oh shit, like she's in my circle somewhat, and I never even came across her until I saw that interview too. So
Raquel.
Yeah, she's dope.
Crazy.
Yeah, she's dope.
Yeah.
She's wild. Her music is so aggressive, but it's fun. And she was just like, oh, when I rap, I'm channeling my ancestors, and I'm like, yeah, I feel that.
She's kind of like you, where like she's hella sweet and like hella cool, and when you talk to her, but her rap, she's like aggressive as fuck and shit.
Yeah, she unleashes that shit. She's a straight beast. That's what's
I feel like a lot of like, I don't know, man. I feel like there's such a box in like, the hip hop world for ladies, and it's upsetting because, like, I want to hear people snap. Like, I'm a big fan of like Little Sims because she challenges everyone. She'll come out and like, she'll just like, I don't fuck with this type of white people. I don't fuck with these people. I don't fuck with men that do shit. She's aggressive. And I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm like, get it out. Like, you want to say it, say the shit. And she's dope. But even after like her coming out and like just a head of steam, she dumbed it down. Her last release was a little more dumbed down. It was very love story-ish, which is solid, but it's like, come on, where's that fucking hatred? Where's that like, she was for me, she was gonna take down the industry type shit, but we get into moods. I get
it.
Jeez. So looking back at your career, like from when you first started, and seeing where you are right now, what do you think about your past? Like, how do you look at it now? What I'm saying, in retrospect, the very beginning. Like, do you look at it fondly, with nostalgia, or how do you look at it?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like now that I'm older, I've definitely come to like appreciate all that shit, coming up, because at one point I was like pretty embarrassed about it. Like, I don't know what I was thinking, like some of the shit I rapped about, or just like some of the songs I created. I'm like, what the fuck was I on? Like, I don't know. But thinking back now though, like I appreciate it because I had more like hunger, and it was so like apparent that I just kept creating and I kept experimenting. So now that I'm older and like experimenting, I'm like, damn, like that makes me like challenge myself in a way. Like my younger self makes me challenge, like, don't fucking get lazy. Like, come on, where's that hunger? Where's that drive? Continue. So, yeah, looking back, I appreciate it more. So I'm not that embarrassed anymore about about my fucking name and all my mixtapes and shit. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Back when you used to go by what was your old rap name again?
Oh gosh, OG Chucks.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
OG Checks.
OG
Chucks, like Chuck Taylors.
Like Chuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was spelled OG CHUHKS. Explain that acronym, but it's an acronym. Explain that acronym.
It's an acronym. It stands for Only God Can Help Us Here Keep Sane. It's a long ass acronym.
Okay.
Yeah.
and
it's very deep.
And your name now, 1 a.m. Give us that acronym.
One Almighty, or it stands for I Am, which is, God in the Bible. He says, I am that I am. So it kind of continues that similar theme from my first name. It's just a lot simpler and easier to say.
Yeah. And you don't appear like a big old thug and shit.
Yeah. I'm not coming up with red chucks and red bandanas and whatnot.
Yeah.
That's dope, though. I mean, it's authentic. It stays, it's consistent. So that's a good thing, as long as it's not like full 360, like from Titty Boy to 2 Chainz type shit, as long
That's true.
No, that's solid though. No, I get that though. Like the nostalgia of things, like looking back on older projects is always an experience. And it's like, even like now, I feel like artists going back and looking at their stuff, or if you compare artists, like if you've watched artists, grow old with them, it's like a battle between like that young hunger versus that old skill, like, and it's like, you wish you had the hunger you had when you were younger, but with the skill that you have now. And it's just you know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, bro, like I would like, where'd that hunger go? Like, cause it's you look at some older stuff and you're like, man, the ambition was high. Like I was getting after it. And then it's like, I just didn't know how to fully get there. And now it's like, oh, I know how to get there. But it's like, I don't know if I have that drive, but I get it, man. I get it.
Who are your influences coming up?
Okay. Well, Missy Elliott and Eminem, they were the first to, I guess, inspire me 2 different ways. Eminem, I really loved for his just rawness. He just didn't give a fuck. So that always just appealed to me. And then Missy Elliott working with Timberland, they just created just something magical. Yeah. So those were like my 2 main influences. But, like listening to just different genres in general, like, Paramore. Paramore was like something, a band that I always still love to this day. Michael Jackson. A lot of them are like singers too. Like it's fucking weird, but Stevie Ray Vaughan, Bob Marley, James Brown, of course. I don't know, Lauryn Hill, of course. There's a long list, just a long list of freaking different artists too. Like
Smith.
She named a lot of artists with some crazy real life issues. A lot
of old school too.
Very old school, different genre. You got Bob Marley in that mix. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great lineup. I'm glad you mentioned Missy Elliott, because Missy, even though she gets all the praise in the world, I just can't help but feel like she is underrated.
Okay.
She used to make crazy music. Like, don't get me wrong, the music is super original. It's way ahead of its time. But like, you cannot forget when she used to feature on people's projects, she would snap. Like she fucking... So just for context, Redman's one of my favorite rappers of all time. She not only rapped like head to head with him on a track, she sang on it. She rapped and sang on it. Like, that's a song. And that's something that's just like, we're just going to ignore that. Like Missy Elliott wasn't cooking like legends on their own shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like her praise is like, just wasn't enough. You know what I'm saying? It just wasn't enough. Like she deserves more, because we still haven't got another one. We have one Missy Elliott.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? An outlier.
And no one close. It's not even like, you know what I'm saying? There's no one close. Like, yeah, we got like Nas's, and they're like, maybe you want to compare J. Cole's and all that type of stuff. But like, there is no one that's like, oh, that's the next Missy, or she sounds like, no one is there. There's no one in that league. Wild, very wild, but rant done, I gotta get my rant.
For sure.
And speaking of singers, how did you find out, when was the first time you realized you could sing? So I know you were like doubting yourself for a cool minute before you even decided to sing.
Well, I mean, it kind of started from when I was just little growing up. My brother would sing in the shower all the time, so I would just kind of like, I would pick up that habit of like a concert in the shower. So that's from me like practicing singing, and then in elementary school I was in choir for a little bit.
Nice.
And then high school I joined choir again. So I've always loved singing. It's just I've always been kind of like insecure about my voice, I guess. Same with my rap voice. Like before when I just started, like I hated my rap voice. So I'm sure it's just like a similar journey with my singing. So, you know.
Yeah, singing that's the thing with singing is tough because like it's literally like your body's instrument. And it's just like any other instrument. If you don't do it, you know, it's not going to get better. You know what I'm saying? So you have to work on it. And you got to go through that first stage, you know, like you got to go just like any instrument. You got to go through that terrible learning stage. But once you start to get comfortable, you get a few notes in your system, then you get the confidence to build up. But it's tough. Like I've been attempting singing my whole career and I'm still not comfortable. I can give me like 5 takes. I can do layers, but every single one of them by themselves, I'm going to hate. I'm going to hate everything by itself. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a bit of perfectionist. So like when I do create like a singing song, then I'm just like super critical about it. And sometimes it's hard to release. Like the sun was like one of those songs where I was like, should I release it? I'm like,
You always do that.
I was like, fuck it, I do it.
You always have like fire. You always have like fire ass songs or beats or stuff that you just like not sure of, and just like, dude, this is boring. What are you doing?
I know. I got a whole vault from the fucking pandemic, so you know, I'll be releasing those, and you can let me know what you think.
For sure. And if somebody were to like, you know, ask like, oh, let me hear a song you're singing, like, what would be the best song that would be like the best example to showcase your singing?
Well, for sure the sun. But I think if the sun wasn't on the table, I'd probably say, what's that song? I have so many damn songs. The one I'm like, where you think you going? You know what I'm talking about? It's on 4 letters.
Stay. Yeah,
I don't even know the own title of my own fucking song.
Yeah, that was Stay.
Yeah. Stay. I would say Stay. That's like the first like good singy song, and then the sun. I would say those were the 2 that I would be like, for sure, go listen to those, and then you could judge me on my other shit.
Yeah, for sure. I remember 4 Letters was like the first project you ever actually, for sure, like just completely dove into the singing world and just started showcasing that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, because before you like kind of do it, but then like you just like, you know, just not really fully commit to it, just like a little like you're layering here and there. But,
yeah, just like I just throw a little flair in there. But yeah, The Sun was one of those songs that really challenged me to like really be like, okay, let me just sit down and try not to think about shit and just do it. And then it came out the way it came out. And I'm like, I'm like, how can I redo that? Like, what the fuck, you know? It's like a weird thing with me, but that's just my writing process, I guess.
Yeah. No, we all have that word. Like, we just like outdo ourselves. We're like, fuck, what was I doing? How did I feel when I was there? I need to do that again. What the fuck? Yeah. What did I do? Like,
yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's like such a tough reality too, because it's like, man, I love stuff like that, like singing, especially singing stuff, like vibey type stuff. And I'm like, man, I want to make this. And then if you pull it off, it's like, I wish I could do this again. You know, even after you just
I'm like, and then you know, people hit me with like, can you do more songs like The Sun? I'm like, I don't know if I can. Like, shit, just like, let it happen naturally, bro. Like,
it's always the worst when you tell you what to do.
Oh yeah, I know. I'm like, dude,
the pressure is like, then it's like, fuck. Especially if you were thinking like, damn, man, I wish I could make more like this. And they're like, yo, you should do more like this. And you're like, shit, now I have to, you know?
Or you think?
No, yeah, I'm definitely getting drawn into that, because before I even started rapping, that's what I did. Like, I would write poetry and I would write singing songs. It's just like, you know, I was just super insecure about my singing voice. So I was like, what else can I do? I'm like, Missy Elliott raps. Let me just I'm just gonna like copy her flow and try to teach myself how to rap, you know? And that's how I literally taught myself how to rap. I just rapped over Missy Elliott beats and try to like, you know, replace my lyrics with her flow. And then from there, I was just able to kind of grow with that and continue practicing, you know?
That's fire. Damn, that's I tend to notice all the more sensitive artists, including myself, started off with poetry. And we're just like, once the poetry hits the point where people are like, yo, this is actually pretty good. It's just like just the devil behind our ear, like, yo, you should rap. You should rap.
Take your fucking poetry.
Turn them into bars, you know? And it's just like, yo,
fuck here and there.
And that's where it starts, you know, like it's just, you can't help it. I mean, what's next? You know, that's the timeline. That's the progression.
Mm-hmm. Taking the next, you have how many albums now? Like 18 million?
Probably. I was fucking thinking that too, because I'm gonna be performing Back to It, and I'm like, in that song, I'm like, I got 14 tapes. I'm like, I do not have 14 tapes.
They gotta update that number.
I'm pretty sure I gotta update that shit. I want to say 8. Maybe you're right, 18. I don't know. I need to go back and like calculate.
I remember when you dropped that song with Angel, We Back. That was before you dropped B-side. So that was when you had 17. You said 17, and then you dropped this one. Okay. So that must be 18.
Probably 18.
I'm like, I like catalog her whole fucking like career.
19 on the way.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. When was the first release? When did the first release drop? How long?
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
First ever? Shit.
The realest.
I mean, yeah, number one.
You never heard I'm Just Me, How Reckless?
Which one?
I'm Just Me. It was like a really shitty ass mixtape I put out on YouTube.
That was the one that was on your YouTube.
I'm like, I have like, it's like a phone selfie. That's my cover.
Yeah, I heard that one. That was the first one. It's still up on YouTube too, if you want to check it out on her way
2012. Right? Or 2011?
Around that time.
Holy shit. 2012 started?
But she's driving for a minute too, yo.
Yeah, I was like 16 going on 17.
That's insane.
Yeah, that was like my first.
I need to work more. I'm like, I'm putting out 3 EPs in the next week because of that. I'm putting out some tapes. Since then, I think I started in like 2009. And I think I have 7, maybe, maybe 8. Sheesh.
You gotta really go back and count them all.
Time ago. Yeah, I'm trying to really think about what and when I dropped that. But yeah, it's been a long ass time. It's been like 8 or 9 years, I think, right?
It was 8 years. Yeah, 8 years ago.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, so I've been doing this for a long time, and it still feels like some. What's up?
That's like 2 projects a year.
Yeah. No, like when I first started, like I was hungry. I was like, I would just stay up all night, like straight up, just stay up all night, fucking, you know, like 3, 4 in the morning, recording and shit. And then in a few hours, I'd have to wake up, go to school. So that's kind of like, I guess, what influenced my name now, 1 a.m., because I would start around 12 or 1. I used to live on a busy street, so the only time I could record was like at that time. So I'd be writing all day long. And then by the time it hit 12, I was like, okay, nobody fucking make noise. I'm going to record.
That's when the traffic stopped on 6th Street, so you can hear nothing more.
Yeah. I lived on a busy ass street down the street from a police station too. So it's just super like ridiculous. So
where's location?
Yeah, but now, like, you know, I'm glad that I did that though, because now I am where I am, and I'm like, you know, super happy about it, you know.
Yeah, been a long time since the days of pressing up CDs like this one and shit.
Oh shit!
Remember that one? Remember that
I
one?
remember that. Oh my gosh, there's no cover.
Yeah, so I have all your old shit, bro. Like all that shit.
Oh man, you are a real one, Reckless, for real. Thank you.
There you know, yo.
Yeah.
So, next question I got for you is those B-sides, the window. How was that process?
Yeah. So when I was doing Windows Side A, I had a lot of music for that project. But when I got down to it, I was like, okay, what says what I'm trying to say in this project, you know? So I went through all the songs and I'm like, this doesn't fit, this doesn't fit, this doesn't fit, you know? Because I was trying to just relay a specific message. So once Windows Side A was released, then, you know, I had all these songs just around, you know, and I'm like, you know what, this is still a part of that story because, you know, it didn't fit that particular thing, that particular message I was saying, but this is still part of my story, a continuation of that. So Windows Side B contains, you know, a few of those songs from that original one and a few new ones, you know.
That's dope. And like, how many songs from the old one made it to this one?
For sure, I want to say 3, and one of them was kind of like rewritten to fit, you know. So yeah.
Which one was that one?
Type of Way.
Type of Way. Okay.
That was written on a different beat, and then I was like, okay, this just doesn't fit, you know. It was a little more of like a darker vibe, and then I was kind of like rethinking the lyrics and stuff like that. So, and then from there, I was like, you know, I want to throw some hip hop shit in there. So I like wanted to sit down with a turntable and like actually add some scratches and shit in there. So that was like the first time. Yeah. So that song was like rewritten, redone from side A, and featured the homie on it too. So yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember when I did the review for that one. You were saying you did the scratches and stuff like that.
Yeah,
fire.
Pretty fun. I want to continue doing that and keep practicing that shit. So
yeah, that whole equipment's a whole new world, but it's a good time. You appreciate DJ, like legit DJs more, not like the iPad guys, but like the
yeah.
That's when they go crazy. You're like, holy shit! Like, you know, that took some work to get to that level.
Oh yeah, the fucking timing. You know, that's the main thing too.
They used to do
timing.
The timing, like I think of like back in the day when they like mark shit with a pencil and like the pioneers of it, and it's like, bro, that's some engineering. Like, you know, like that's some fucking work. My uncle used to DJ back in the day, and he had like a picture that when I was growing up, I'm like, this is the hardest picture I've ever seen. It's like him and my other uncle and his brother. They're like flat tops and like gold chains and like fucking, you know, suits. They look crazy. And he used to DJ like crazy. And like he recently bought like a whole new setup, and he's like, yo, this shit is easy. He's like, it's the easiest shit ever. And I'm like, yeah. He was like, I jumped into this scared, like I was going to have to learn stuff. He's like, yeah, the shit I used to do back in the day was 1,000 times harder than this. I'm like, yeah. All that old equipment is humbling. It's yeah.
My friend, I had traded I'm pretty sure I traded a controller or something, and he traded me a DJ controller, like, you know, just the USB ones. So my homie Kai that's on the song, he actually has like vinyl turntables, so he kind of gave me some pointers on how to like actually do it on the electric one. So it's kind of cool experience, but it's definitely like very humbling, like you said.
Yeah, it's super humbling. Yeah, it's insane. Even like learning, like I make my own beats and stuff, but like with like a little record player and like learning to like rip records and stuff like that with like the software and stuff, I'm like, oh, this is easy. But then I like looked at the old ways because I like to see how the originators used to do stuff, and I'm like, man, I wouldn't have lasted back in those days. They were out here working. Like this shit was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. With the release of this new tape, would you say that this is your favorite new project, your favorite project of all of them, or do you have a special like old project that you have still dear to your heart?
For sure, Windows Side B, obviously, because it's my newest project. It's my favorite one. But I was like kind of being forced to revisit some of my shit recently, and I kind of like miss that whole vibe of antique.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about, that whole vibe where it's like kind of modern, but then I'm still like, you know, with the lyrics and whatnot, but there's just like a certain energy that I was trying to recreate in winter heat that I love about antique. So I'd probably say antique is probably one of my oldest favorite projects.
So, and that's actually their first time ever being, 1 a.m. on this.
1 a.m. Yeah, that was my first 1 a.m. project.
Yeah. So,
my little home studio.
Yeah, you can still see the whole studio in the back.
Yeah. I built a booth out of freaking I think it was plywood or something. It was like super unsafe.
Yeah, it was like, and then it was hella small and shit. Like, it
was my size, so I had Reckless come over one time. He was like super tall. He's like let me just pull out the mic stand and you could just.
Yeah, I was not fitting in there, no fucking way. So, when it comes to this project, you did a lot of production on it. So what was the first time you ever decided to start on the producing side? And what was your first piece of equipment you started on?
Yeah, it's the good stuff. That's what I want to know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Repeat the first question. It got choppy.
Sorry, I suck at asking questions sometimes. Basically, when you started producing, 'cause I know you do producing on your last project, what made you decide to start producing and what was your first piece of equipment?
Okay.
Get your hands on to start.
Way back when I was in middle school, I was just chilling with my friends, and I've never had an iPod before, like an iPod Touch. So my friend had that, and he had this beat app or whatever. So that was the first time. I think I was a 7th grader. I made a little beat on my friend's iPod Touch or whatever. So from there, that always kind of I'm ooh, I need to get money so I can afford an iPod. So I was always focused on that shit. And then later in high school, I actually got my first laptop, and my cousin actually got me FL Studio, a cracked version of it. So that was my first time actually making my beats on there. I didn't have any equipment. I would just click, I'd pull up the little piano roll and, start adding MIDI notes and whatnot. So I think that was probably, I want to say I was maybe a sophomore when I got FL Studio. And then from there, at some point I was like, this shit is fucking whack. I want to physically touch, you know what I mean? I would see people with MPCs and I'm like, how do I get that? Where do I get that? What is that called? And then I don't know who introduced me to Machina Native Instruments. But I don't remember quite when I got it, but I got a little Machina Micro. And it's a little touchpad, kind of like MPC, but it's connected to the DAW. And then from there, it's just always been something I've been addicted to, just making beats here and there, And then Reckless knows this, but when I first started making beats, I never would rap on them. I'd be too afraid to rap on them, just I'd be afraid to fucking rap. So
yeah,
I would just have a bunch of weird ass beats that I made and didn't know what to do with them. So I actually still have some too, in the vault, but
I have a bunch still she deleted still. Yeah,
so I don't even know what mixtape too. At one point, I just decided, I think it was Antique, but I'm not entirely sure. When
dark
I actually
dark letters, you use your own
dark letters. Yeah, I started implementing my own beats, and I'm just fuck it, I'm gonna rap on it. So, yeah.
Nice.
Kurt Brody, what's up?
Uncle Kurt. He said you know his boy Ace.
Hey, hell yeah.
Kurt's the man. So I have a question. So what do you use now for your producing? Do you use
I'm still on Machine. But I'm kind of starting to experiment with actual instruments. So I have, you kind of see that guitar back there. I have a guitar, a bass. I just bought a drum pad thing. So I'm starting to produce in Cubase. It's a little bit easier for me. So yeah, so Cubase and Machine, those are my two favorite DAWs.
Okay. Solid. I remember Cubase. I used to rock with Cubase back in the day. I've upgraded a lot, but now I rock with I got an MPCX, and I've learned to love the MPC software. Everybody like hates on it, and I'm like, yo, this software is dope. Like I use that, and then if I for like my other mixing and stuff, I use Logic. But like the MPC software is solid, and they have like a version of it on the phone, which is not exactly the same, but it's still, it's, you know, if you know how to use the software, you can use it on the phone. So I could like sample shit on the street. You know what I'm saying? Like I could do whatever, because like, you know, these new iPhone microphones and shit are fantastic. So it's super clean. Like, so I could just, but even this, I could carry this shit around. I love the MPC, but it's dope learning, like just drum machines in general are insane. Cause like I got this, I shout out to my homeboy Little Vic who put me on. He sold me a old MPC, one of the 2000s, and that shit was tough. But I learned from that, and I was like, that was an experience. That took me like 4 months to make like a good sounding beat, like my first beat. And I was like, yo, I love this thing. And then I got this MPC, and now I'm like the X, and I'm like a spoiled brat. I'm like, it's the easiest shit. But I love it. I mean, I could do anything with it. I can hook anything up to it. I got my little piano. I got my little station for when I get my harmonica sampling on. Like it's dope hearing equipment. Yeah, you know, like, you know, that's music though. You know, that's part of yeah, it's part of that. Everyone just has to find what they like, and it's dope. Like, you know, I even told Reckless, like when I reviewed your project, the second project, because I reviewed 2 of your projects, I was like, yo, I fuck with her production. Like, yo, I would love to work on something, you know, just one, because of your sound, but 2, it's like, it's good to spread the love. You know, everybody's gotta work together type shit.
No, hell yeah. I kind of want to add to your MPC thing real quick. My homie Kai, he also has MPC Live, so he actually let me borrow it for like a week. And I was like, you know, just messing with it. I'm like trying to figure it out and shit. And I'm like, I get what you mean about like everyone hates the fucking software. It took me like 2 days to actually make a. Yeah, it was pretty cool though. I was like, this is like a different experience without a computer screen in front of your face. You know what I mean? So I definitely like, you know, appreciate the MPC, but for sure I'm a Machina person. I mean, you
gotta find that one software you like. Like I've messed with Fruity Loops. I didn't like it. I used to record on Cubase. I used to do, when I was making beats lazily, I just had like a, you know, my little keyboard. I'd mess around on Logic. And then I don't know, something just, when I got the MPC, I was like, I'm going to learn like not only the software on there, but like the desktop version of the software. I'm like, I'm going to learn it. And you do have to learn it, you know, being someone who's used a bunch of those other softwares. I was like, this is a whole new world. But once I learned it, I was like, man, I love this. And I'm hooked on it. And I'm always like selling it to people. So 88 Keys, he's the one who got me to go into it. So I was working with him, and you know, I was at his place. He was making a few beats for me, and I saw him just using it, and I'm like, what the hell software is this? I'm like, it's all red and black. I'm like, this looks cool. What the hell is that? And he's like, no, it's the actual MPC software. And I was like, okay. I'm like, all right, it looks weird. And then when I downloaded it, I was like, this is fucking weird. But now that I learned it, I'm like a salesman for them now. I'm like, yeah, you should try it. I love the MPC.
Maybe I'll check it out. I'm kind of like a techie nerd in a way. So like I've tried like Roland's and Beats. You've ever heard of that?
Yeah.
I try like random shit. Like I'll just go on.
Yeah, they're fun. It's fun.
Yeah, you know. So I'm totally down to check it out. I like Logic Pro X too.
Yeah, Logic Pro X is nice because it's so user friendly, and it's got like cheat codes in there like that. The auto drummer is the funnest tool ever. It makes just drums for anything. You could switch genres. But I'm surprised you didn't fall in love with the live. I love the live. Like when I
tried it, but I guess because I'm so used to like the machine, and they actually came out with, you know, their own version of it. It's just like super freaking expensive, but I don't know. Like, yeah, it's just for me, it's just like super flowy. But I mean, you know, to each his own. As long as you're producing some fire ass shit, you know.
Yeah, that's all that matters. At the end of the day, it's what's coming out of it. You know, if you're getting your money's worth.
Of all the songs you've produced, what would you say is your best like example of your production of you being like at your best?
It's gonna be something that's in the vault.
Even other people's stuff. Even it doesn't have to be your album. It could be other people's shit too if you like that beat.
A beat she's just hiding. She don't want nobody to rap on.
Yeah, those are in the vault. Huh?
Yeah, those are in the vault. I gotta pull them out though. Like I can't just like sit on them. But fuck, dude. Yeah, there is something in the vault. I sampled. I actually sampled some vinyl and flipped it and chopped it up and tweaked it. And oh man, it's just like mind blowing. But I'd probably say The Sun. I mean, The Sun is like another example of me flipping a sample and making it completely like.
Yeah.
Even I'm like damn, like I sampled like the main parts, but then I added, some of that more bass and little sparkle at the top, and kind of added like a chop in it, dun dun dun, like that. Yeah. So I'd probably say The Sun for sure. Like I think if I could make more beats like that, fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah, dude, whole album that way.
That song, that song is so dope. But like there's nothing better than like completely flipping a sample. Like it's one thing to like make little tweaks to it and loop it, but when you completely change it into something else, it is like, you get that victory. You're like, man, they couldn't scan this. I can't get no copyright flag for this. Like this shit is amazing.
Pat yourself on the back. Yes. Good job.
Oh
Good job.
yeah, like now I've learned that though. Like this is an important lesson I think to all like people who freaking sample is like, if you're gonna sample something and you're gonna flip it, make sure you check on that little like Shazam or whatever the fuck and see if it comes up. And if it doesn't come up, great, you fucking keep on. You're good
to go. Like Shazam, people sleep. Like Shazam is such a powerful tool. I got hustled by a couple of producers. Well, one producer we talked about him the other day.
A couple of times now.
A couple of times. So this one dude,
about it.
I'm still upset about it. I got 3 exclusive beats from this dude, and then 2 of them I heard on projects, just randomly reviewing them for the page. And I was so pissed. I was like, this son of a bitch, he hustled me. But sure enough, when I first called him out, because I've called him out every time. When I first called him out, I was like, yo, bro, what the hell's going on? He's like, nah, man, I'll send you another exclusive. He sent me a beat and I Shazammed it. And there's some like, MC, curly fries or something like that rapping on it. So I was just like, yo, fuck this dude. But now, like, anytime I get beats from people, I have the habit of like Shazamming the intro, the first few seconds, just to, to check my, to check my own, back, because like, these are ruthless on the internet. Dudes are crazy ruthless.
So they get their money, man. Shit.
Yeah, for sure. Like, from when I first started, I would always get, beats off YouTube, and then at one point I was like,
slid that in there real quick. Beats off YouTube.
But anyways, but yeah, after that, I was like, I'm not gonna ever touch YouTube beats ever, and I would just produce my own shit. And then, after that, at one point, I'm just like, okay, let's just go to the local producers and just boom. And then it's been awesome ever since. Fuck YouTube producers, no offense. But if you're selling beats and that you're like, just fucking looping it and shit, like you suck. Like, come on.
Yeah. You're lazy.
Stop being lazy. Don't call yourself a producer if you're just looping it.
Yeah, and it sucks because it like screws everyone. Like it's a bad look. It screws everyone over, and it's like that's why I tell a lot of dudes, especially like upcoming artists, whenever like younger cats who are like, "Yo, you got any tips or like something to help me get into the game?" And I'm like, "Yo, honestly, learn how to make some beats, because that shit is not only gonna save you so much money, it's gonna save you so much heartache and time." And then by the time you're done, like learning how to make beats and you get the equipment for it, you're probably going to have half of a recording studio at that point once you get good, because you know how it is to get obsessed with equipment. You're like, oh, I need this now. You're buying shit you never thought you would even know what they were like a year before. And then it's like, yo, and by then you just saved yourself money. Like you save money, you save time, and you also have developed skills that can make you money. You know what I'm saying? That can make you money. So it's like, it's like, take the time, take the fucking time. It's like hip hop's not going nowhere.
Yeah. Or another thing too is, people say support your local artists, support your local producer as well,
Yeah, that's a fact. And it's like, that's the thing too. That's crazy. It's like these dudes online, these YouTube dudes and all that stuff with their shitty contracts and they're trying to rope you in and steal money from you when you have someone who literally you could probably go to their house and like listen to their stash of like dope beats because they just don't have the confidence to put it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Of that dude. I don't know if you guys remember when Game put out documentary, the 2.5.
Yeah, that was cool.
That dude that he found who produced like most of it, it was like some young dude, and he like made the dude make him like 300 beats. Like he like went crazy with some local dude that like nobody knew. And it's like, that's the type of energy you need. Like that dude was local and like Game, someone who doesn't need to find someone cheap or local, did. He stole pretty much beats from like young cats. So it's like, yo, capitalize on that shit rather than go on the internet the lazy way and get hustled.
Yeah.
Here released. Fucking guy.
Yeah. So top 5 time. What's your top 5 favorite rappers?
Gosh. Top 5 artists or top 5 rappers?
Give me both.
You just set yourself up both now.
Yeah.
Okay. You should also add in, just to throw in there, is top 5 local artists. Just
local artists. All right.
Yes. We gotta like, shout out our
It's a
homie,
tricky question because I'm gonna come in with who are the bottom 5. And then you got to say the worst local artist too. I don't want.
Yeah, we'll do that. That happened in the last interview.
Tomato at you during your show type.
Right. So we'll start with top 5 rappers. It's always changing, so if you could judge me, whatever, I don't care. I just like found out who Shay Noor was, so she's like all the way to the fucking top. I'm like, mind blown. Bro, like just straight mind blown.
You go through her catalog, she's cooked some of the top underground. She was on my favorite album last year, the Ransom and the Rome Streets album. And she went toe to toe with them. Like Ransom fucking attacked Joe Budden on wax. And Rome Streets is one of the deadliest pens out here. And she's just casually hanging out on a song at their level. She's the truth. She's the truth.
So yeah, Shay Noor, like super mind blown. I like Dreezy. I don't know if you've heard her. She's I've been loving Dreezy lately. For some reason, basic ass sometimes, but I like Bia, Mac Miller, and I'm gonna put Logic in there.
Big move.
This whole stream.
That soundboard ready, bro. Come on now.
Yeah, I know. I don't have the soundboard today.
But yeah, those are, I guess, my top 5 for the last 2 months, I guess. And then top 5 artists. Dominic Fike. They're not in a particular order. I just listened
Shout out to Fike on Euphoria.
Dominic Fike.
No spoilers.
Paramore's still there.
Yeah.
Silk Sonic, I've like been super obsessed with both of them. Revolution still always, and then SZA. So 5. Yeah.
That's 5. Dope. Fire. Shout out for Revolution on that list. One of my favorite groups. Hell yeah.
I can listen to them like all day. Like they're just, chill ass band.
Always. Talk to me about your breakaway artist society. How did that start?
Yeah.
What made you decide to go into the podcast interview world?
It put me on. You gotta explain this to me.
Guy on
what we talking about? I know Reckless is the homie. I don't know what to do.
Okay. So at some random point, maybe like a year ago or something, I came up with this idea of Breakaway Artist Society, which is basically like, I guess just encouraging artists to stay independent or, like encourage independent art, and doesn't have to necessarily be music, but just an independent grind or hustle entrepreneurship. So that has like started as an idea, and then coming into like this new year, I was like, I know a lot of like really chill ass artists, you know, that are doing it. And I kind of want to talk to them and just kind of get their experience of what it's like being an independent artist. What is the, you know, some of the shit they got to go through. Like, nobody ever talks about like money, finances, you know, like just kind of like the little things that nobody tells you. So that's kind of like what I've been trying to dive into, and like, I guess get that information to help other people that want to start making music, or, you know, start photography or whatever, you know?
Yeah.
So.
Oh, I'm a big fan of that, because I offer shit like that just quietly. Like when I like to talk to artists that I like believe in, I'm not going to just do it to some kid who's, you know, showing his teeth on his pictures and drinking something that's a bright color. But I do rock with shit like that. Like I definitely think that's something in the underground that's fucking necessary. Like it's a nightmare. Even just like, hey, you want to start your own LLC, as far as like you want to be a label, you want to fucking do like, oh, you had a good year as an artist where you made some money. It's like, oh, you made enough money to have to do your taxes. Like, you know, there's a lot of shit that can scare a fight like that. And I get it. Like if you want to just, oh, I want to make music and have fun, and then you get hit with all this legal shit, and then you're like, oh wait, licensing, ASCAP, BMI, what the fuck's going on? If I put it on kid, it was just going to be out there. And it's like, no, there's more steps, bro. And like, that's what these that's their incentive. Like that's the incentive of all these labels. Like, yeah, we'll just take half and we'll do all the busy work. But it's like, yo, that shit is busy work, but it's 5 minutes of your day. It's 10 minutes of your time. You know, it's not a lot. It's not worth 50% of your ownership. It's not worth any percentage of your, you know what I'm saying? Like, so
exactly.
Yeah. Artists need that. They need to hear that. And what is there's not enough outlets that are legit. Like you can, you know, everybody can YouTube University, but there's so much goobers, and it's like dudes who don't even make music. Like, hey, welcome to my YouTube. Let me teach you guys. And it's just super corny.
Smash that like button. Yeah.
Make sure you hit the bell, subscribe.
Yeah. And then you find out, Google them, and it's like, oh, this person's dad's a millionaire. It's like, this fucking guy isn't making any goddamn music.
Yeah, it's fucking fraud.
Oh yeah. Because I as an independent artist, I didn't know that if you are streaming and you get checks, technically you are a sole proprietor.
Yeah.
So I got hit with a 1099. So I was like, oh, I wish I knew about this. So I'm like, let me ask other artists that, you know, like go through this shit. Same thing with like just being an artist and like signing to a label. Like I've only interviewed, I think, like 1 or 2 people that actually have experience with that. You don't necessarily have to be a mainstream artist to get a contract and whatnot. So I think that's all stuff that nobody really talks about. So, and you know, in the music underground scene. So that's kind of just like stuff I want to kind of cover and like bring to light with this Breakaway Artist Society stuff. So, yeah.
That's good, because people need those like warnings when they get into it, you know what I'm saying? Because maybe they have like a good amount of money, say, to start, and then they just like spend it all like in places that they probably shouldn't. And if they didn't know shit, like, you know, they get, you know, a hard lesson learned, you know, when it could have been avoided by, you know, watching one of these podcasts or something to let people know like what you need to know to get into this. Because a lot of shit people don't tell you. I learned the hard way a lot of shit. You know, we take L's in this game a lot.
And it's crazy. You learn a lot of stuff step by step, but it would have helped to hear stuff. Cause like I'll have moments where I'm like, yo, I need to find a podcast on some more business shit just to want to like get some sort of insight. But this music shit, it's like, it shouldn't be so hard to find, but it's so specific that it's like, yo, it's difficult. Like even for like when you get hit with a 1099 and it's like, all I needed was somebody to tell my dumb ass to just keep track of shit that I bought that I, you know, like if I would have fucking kept my like PayPal transaction at this bum ass studio, you telling me I could have had a write off of some shit. You know what I'm saying? Little things.
Everything, you know, and gear, even equipment, even outfits for going to performances, like
gas money,
right off gas money, exactly. So yeah, like that's the type of shit that So that's the kind of shit I want to bring up, and you know, even if it's just like little gems here and there, I think it's worth it versus just not ever talking about it or knowing about it, you know.
People need it, honestly. And it's like, it sucks because like like the mainstream is pushing these kids to just be lazy, but it's like they need it the most. You know what I'm saying? Like they need it the most, like, because you know, when that shit hits you, it really hits you. Like, you know, like you get dicked over.
I have a perfect story for that, and it like kind of broke my heart. Okay, so I'm kind of a gear nerd junkie. Like I look for used gear. Like that guitar I fucking got for like $50, like just from some random dude. So I'm always like looking, you know, I'm like getting used gear. So this kid was, I think he was like 16. He was selling a microphone and an interface, and I met up with him and I was like, you know, is there anything wrong with it? Why are you selling it? And he's like, oh, I just don't know how to use it. And I was like, but I was like, you know, there's YouTube. Like I can show you right now how to use it if you want to like rethink this and like, you know, go ahead and make some music, like, you know. But he was just like, nah, like it's too hard. Like, so I was like, all right, I'll buy it, whatever. But it's just like, damn, like, you know, this kid could have, you know, you never know. He could have been really good with it, but he just didn't want to try it.
Music. He's going to build a passion. He's going to start learning equipment, and then he's going to regret that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's gonna it's like, yeah, I sold some girl some shit that was fire. She tried to show me it. My dumb ass just sold. He's gonna be complaining.
Dude, it was brand new. It was brand new. He sold it for me for $100. It was like, you know, worth like 200. It was like a whole setup, and I'm like, dude, I literally could show you how to use this on my phone. Like, I got an app. We could plug it in. I'll show you how to record.
You're
but
gonna
he's like,
nah,
I was like, whatever. Like, I was totally willing to help him. And then, you know, I was like, you know, come through to a show, you know, if you want to learn about music, you know. But I don't know what's up with the use, bro.
MC50, this micro composer. This thing's old as hell. And I got this from, I'm trying to remember what the hell it was from, but it was like just someone like moving. And they were just like, whatever. But I got like a whole setup of just old music equipment. And all I need is the plugs. But I got it for like $5. And I'm like, the more I look into it, I'm like, this is not $5. I'm like, this is not $5. I got some. Yeah, I got like this this old school dope like tape player, and it's my I call it my car mix proof. Like whenever I mix something, it's like USB, but it's a tape player. I can make tapes on it too, which is dope. But
that's dope.
Whenever I have like a mix, for some reason, I don't know why, but when I play my mixes on this, if it sounds good on this, I know it's going to sound good in my car. But I think I convinced myself that, so I just don't go outside. But I stand by it. My mixes sound solid. But yeah, that thing too, super cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like some people don't even know. Some people
they don't even want to get the knowledge to know either, which is the most heartbreaking part about it.
Failure is how you learn. You know, like you try something, you fail, and then you learn from it, and you try something different, and then.
But see, the new generation don't do that. They fail.
I know. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, they
don't take opportunities either when they're given. They just let them fly by. Yeah, they say opportunity knocks, but don't beg.
Yeah, no. Very wild shit. But I mean, it is what it is. But all right, man, you got any closing questions? We're hitting that mark. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I only got one last thing. Just like, you know, what's next for 1AM? What's the next project? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So what's next for me for right now is I just took on a studio in Santa Cruz. So I'm going to be, you know, engineering and recording and working with artists. So I'm excited for that. I also am working on a project with Angel, who's featured on Windows Side B. So we got like, you know, a project coming out, and I have a lot of music in the vault that I think I'm just going to focus on releasing. And while that's being released, I can focus on like what I'm trying to do. Right now, I'm trying to like work with real instruments. I'm trying to figure out how to make it sound a certain way, kind of like Questlove mixed with like Erykah Badu mixed, you know, like I want a specific sound. So I guess that right now that's what I'm going to focus on while, you know, while those projects come out and just, you know, go out in the world.
That's fire. That's fire. Hey, when you go to this setup, you're going to be helping engineering. I'm going to send you a blow up of our mascot and our worst review to motivate them. You got to put it right in the booth.
That's funny.
And we we want them to be afraid to record any whackness.
Okay.
I'm gonna put the red eyes on the picture and just have it staring right at the microphone. No, but real shit. This was super fucking dope. I'm very excited for what you have next. Unfortunately, I realized I reviewed most of your stuff, so it's like I gotta let someone else do it. So Reckless clearly can't. He's got every copy of every damn thing.
I'm sorry. I would have given all fire, all diamonds.
Yeah.
10 out of 10. Didn't listen yet.
Yeah, seriously. I'm excited for everything you got going, and let me know if you ever need anything for like the other things you have as far as like things to help other artists and stuff. I'm very good with like putting together templates and like spreadsheets and all sorts of stuff, so I'm always down to pitch in if you need anything from me, anything at all. You could reach out.
Oh yeah. Maybe if you're willing, maybe I can interview you for Artists at Work, and you can just drop hella gems.
All I do is talk. I love the sound of my own voice. I'll talk all day.
You're the man that knows. I hate my voice.
I talk to myself all day. It's part of my lunacy. But no, I'm 100% down for that. Always down. Super down for that. Super down for any sort of cross collaboration. And I still want to work with you. I know you're a busy person, but I still want to work. So we will
just gotta set it up, and that's how I do it. It's just like if we don't set something, it's just kind of flowing everywhere. But if you set something, let's just do it. So
right,
I love working on music, and I love collaborating. So I'm totally down.
All right, super down. But yeah, all right, man. This was super, super, super dope. You're high key. You inspire me. You make me want to do more. I mean, you got double the amount of releases that I've had in my career. Longer, like this is crazy.
We're not including the collaboration tapes.
No,
and the collaboration singles, but
you ain't got to flex on me.
Just throwing it out there.
Shit, okay. Trying to make us feel inferior.
Yeah, damn. I get it.
I want a spark of fire in you guys, okay?
That's what we do. We're supposed to do that, all right? You're not supposed to spark up. About it. But real shit, this was super dope.
For sure. Thank you for having me on here.
Thank you for coming through, for sure.
Let everybody know where to find your stuff, or if you have a link or whatever,
let them know all the links everywhere.
Wherever you want people to find you.
To save you time and energy, just go to iam1am.com. All my shit is there. So iam1am.com. Simple.
That's how you know she's professional as fuck. You know what I'm saying?
You can follow me at Silly Strings on Twitter, but on this underscore and
forever.
And it's like, bro, nobody's gonna remember that. But again, truly appreciate everybody who joined in. The comments it's very chaotic. I didn't realize it was showing the symbol to all of the platforms, but either way, this was super dope. We'll keep in touch for sure. I'll let you know when this drops and all that good stuff. But everybody, signing off. Hope y'all have a good night. It's late. It's old people time. Peace.
Peace.